There are so many creators using AI to help formulate their content now, writing drafts, writing scripts, help crafting video material, putting AI imagery into the content that we're providing. It's really taken us by storm, and we're still riding this wave into who really knows where, seeing where this AI development, this AI revolution is going to take us. And a lot of people have built up fears around what all this could mean and for our future, our job security, things like that. I mean, even I use AI for, SEO type things. Writing up, I had AI drafting me newsletters for a client that I was working for the past year. There's a lot of places that it can be applied. These tasks that you would normally delegate to other people, you can do with things like Claude or ChatGPT, and it's very useful and effective. But where's the point that we are letting it do too much of our ideation, too much of our creative process, and we start losing ourselves? I think that is a place that a lot of people are having trouble with right now and wondering if they're treading into too dark of waters when it comes to that. So I'm going to quickly, in this video, talk about 3 things that I know that we can all do to survive this AI takeover. Before we get started, my name is Drew McClellan. I'm here to help you become the leader of your own life, whether that means get yourself an optimal physical condition, get you in a better mental space, get you in a better spiritual space, perfect your routine habits that keep you in balance, or maybe even start up your own business and help you generate income in an independent way. That's going to be more what this video is about, how to make a business out of yourself. So let's get right into it. Right off the bat, you just need to start. I think of about a year and a half ago, I got into a Conscious Business Accelerator program from Aaron Dowdy and Victor Odo. And one thing that Aaron always said was, once you start it, you are it. And there is such a strong and moving potential when you embrace that phrase exactly. Starting to become your own voice it's going to come with a bunch of tension and a bunch of cringeworthy feelings from inside. Even doing these videos right now, I learned so much about myself because though I've been a performer throughout my years and an artist, and I've put my music and my art on display, that is not even, and that's only one example of how I see my own voice and how I can reflect on my own voice. When I'm talking, doing a floating head video like this, I'm seeing myself in a whole new light. I'm understanding different ways about how I am a public speaker and what people perceive me as. And becoming that voice is a necessary part of building yourself as someone who can shed experience and light onto others who may not be quite on the same part of the path as you. The next thing that's going to really help you maintain your humanity against this AI takeover stuff is seeking the appropriate response. And that is such a vague kind of statement and something to look for. But we're talking about finding your audience and finding the people who really resonate to you. I have plenty of people that I follow that are, sometimes I consider them miles ahead of me, but sometimes I consider them just my best friend. There's these people who I've only met online, and they're very close to me. They're just a few steps ahead. And even in my personal life, I have a few friends that are just a few steps ahead or even right there with me, and that's what's created a great bond. I quit drinking about a year ago, and for what seemed like a very long time, it was hard for me to reconcile what I would do with friends. My past with friends had always just been meeting up at a bar and hanging out and going to get drinks and shooting the shit, playing pool or whatever. And for probably a good 9 months, I didn't have any camaraderie like that until I met one friend who was kind of on the same path. He had quit drinking as well. He's innovative and thinking about ways that he can build business in his life and expand in an entrepreneurial way, something that treats his independent journey more fulfillingly. And I only say this because when you are starting to cultivate who your audience might be, who might be interested in learning from your experience or who might be moved by learning from your experience, it feels very lonely for a long time, sometimes months and months and months, maybe even years. And that in that isolated part of the journey, remembering that you're talking to potentially millions of people who are appreciative of you opening up and resonating with your story, and thinking about who gains from your wisdom and what kind of person are they, what are they going through in their lives, to where finding you where you're at actually really helps them and they are engaging in a motivated way. That's a very human thing we can always rely on. And I sort of touched on this already, but I like to call this open sourcing of wisdom and inspiration. Something that spreads far, far beyond the ideation that AI can bring us. One benefit of the social media world and having all of this at our fingertips is that you can find the people who inspire you, and you can even refer to them when you're feeling at sort of a loss. I just mentioned Aaron Dowdy and Victor Odo earlier. They are people who have helped me along my journey open up, recognize some of the blocks that I have within myself, some of the places that I may be stopping myself up. And I didn't know what imposter syndrome was until like a year and a half ago when I first found their content. The idea that I was sitting here and my psyche was finding reasons why I was not worthy, or I was not good enough or credible enough or talented enough to do the things that maybe I was feeling compulsed to do. And I don't want to say compulsive, like, because I don't think it's the right word for that scenario, but the things that I was feeling an inner drive to do, such as start up my own channel, such as start up my own business. I always try to remember that the student is the teacher and the teacher is the student. There are so many of us. There are so many people out there, and they're going through the human experience at different points. And it's so crazy for us to think that we don't have anything to share, and we don't have any light to shed to help people along their way. Everyone is a mentor of sorts, because everyone's been through something that someone else hasn't. So that's why I say, let's just say you are someone who's starting up their own YouTube channel or starting up your own TikTok, and you're trying to find video ideas, and you find yourself continually going back to ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or whatever it is. It's the one thing that I would say is the most important, is to recognize that those are good data banks, but you, at the end of the day, don't want to be a data bank, and you're not dependent on that sort of rigid creation of ideas. I tried to mimic a video on a topic that I saw was trending, and it ended up being very hard for me because it never came from me organically. What I ended up doing was finding out through a series of like 4 takes of a video that I just could not feel content with. I ended up finding out that that wasn't the video for me to do. So remember that the wisdom actually is something that you can grab just as easily as AI can grab it. You're just maybe not going to write it down formulaically within 5 seconds and give you like a whole spread of outlines to do. But it's worth cultivating that genuineness in your own content, in your own, if you want to call it business, but your own personal brand, your own personality that will help you branch into more business, sharing experience, and helping other human beings in the face of all this AI slop, AI hysteria. And I'm not even gonna say AI slop. There's a lot of like AI coding is very real. Use that where it applies, because we can level up immensely with it if we use it as the right tool and not let it overrun our creative ideation and exploration.